simply going now. Crowd loving it. It's a ball, flying ball. Home run!
3, 2, 1. That's the John Tesh tune.
John Tesh?
John Tesh wrote that.
What is it?
That used to be the NBC, NBA on NBC. Sorry, I watched the BCS game and it was almost an amazing play. It used to be the jingle and John Tesh wrote it.
John Tesh.
And I just sang it.
Remember Mary Hart? She had her legs insured for like $1 billion.
Because you should have. So last week we did.
John Tesh.
We did.
He's the Michael Bolton of Michael Bolton.
We did a podcast on the Raptors and we were very excited. We thought, hey, this team is looking good.
Yes.
This team is winning games.
Yes.
We're going to get back at it.
Yes.
This week. And we were thinking we might be able to take out Sacramento unless Cousins comes in and dominates our front court because we don't have Valanciunas or Bargnani
or Oakley.
Or Davis to help us. So basically Cousins kicked the shit out of us and we lost.
Well, fair is fair. Cousins had a good game, but the Raptors also did not play very well. I mean, they were asleep at the switch.
Yeah.
They looked very, very tired. Jack Armstrong, who calls the games for the Raptors, we've got an Irish fan pretty much crying in the stands here. Sorry, I've been listening to our other podcast for the day. We've been updating the BCS game all night. Anyway, Jack Armstrong made a great point early in the game on the broadcast. He called that Sacramento game a trap game, which they were looking ahead to Oklahoma City is what he was trying to get at.
But I mean, Cousins ended up with 31 points and 20 rebounds.
Yeah, he had a hell of a game.
I mean, that is unbelievable. But
Clayza was out too, right? So
clearly the Raptors did not show up this weekend at all. I mean, they lost to Sacramento 105-96. Then they sort of made it close with Oklahoma City at the half, and then just got blown out in the second half, 104-92. And now they look ahead to Philadelphia,
who is not fantastic, but they're not great either.
No, so I think Philadelphia, Charlotte, Milwaukee, and then into Brooklyn, by the time you hear from us next, should be a stretch of games we better take. And
they need 3 wins.
And what I like is they had a bad weekend, but they got a couple days off. They don't play on Wednesday, where I think Casey can get these guys back in line and sort of get going again.
Well, and the other thing too, it's interesting when you try to dissect those games a little bit. They gave up 100 points, 105 to Sacramento, 104 to Oklahoma City.
They weren't giving that up in their win streak.
I think there was a stat, and I cannot for the life of me remember exactly the numbers on it from Friday night's game. There was something about if they when they give up 100 plus points, they don't have a win. But if they keep a team under 100 points, I think they said all their wins.
Well, it makes sense if you look at their winning streak. They were winning games. And they were playing great defense.
It was all their wins, I think, this season have come with when they've kept a team under 100 points. That's basically what it got down to. Yeah. And when they gave up, Oklahoma City is a great team. I mean, to keep them, it's funny when you look at the scores, and you keep them to only 104 points, it's not bad. But when you let Sacramento score 105.
And Sacramento is not Oklahoma City.
No, and that's it. I mean, it was kind of frustrating to watch that Sacramento game. They made runs, looked like they're coming back in. But you're right, the upcoming schedule, they got 3 winnable games, Brooklyn maybe, but then they hit the Bulls, they got the Flyers, the 76ers in there again, which is again a winnable game.
Flyers.
And then they play a beat-up Lakers
team. The Raptors play the Flyers on Wednesday, watch out for that.
I don't know, is it going to be on the ice like the Globetrotters game? And then you have the Lakers and the Heat, so those are 2 tough games, even though the Lakers are hurting now because Howard's out, Gasol's out.
I know, right? Talking about a team that was kicking when they're down.
Yeah. So they got an interesting stretch. I mean, if you go down that stretch there, and you look at there's a couple of tough games in the Bulls, Lakers, depending on their injuries, the Heat, and maybe the Nets. But other than that, you got 2 games against the 76ers, Charlotte, Milwaukee, and then down at the end there, you got Orlando near the end of January. And I think their January schedule could be very interesting.
They got to win these games this week. We'll be back at you next week when we give you sort of a round up of how it's going. Look for some trade rumors coming out shortly. It's definitely that time of year where this is going to be front and center, I think. that if the team starts to sort of drag its heels again, like they did at the beginning of the season, there definitely is going to be a shake-up coming down the line.
Okay, I got a question for you. You're the Raptors guy. You're the NBA guy. The Raptors had a chance this season, and this is dragging on a little bit, but I'll try to be quick. The Raptors had a chance to really cement themselves in the Toronto market. We've been touching on this all year long. They came out of the gate slow. No Leafs on, no nothing. Jay stole all the media attention when they made all those trades. Lockout's over, and the Raptors were on a high note there coming into this CBA with the NHL, and they had two bad games. One bad game for sure, and against Sacramento on the weekend. Do they just get pushed off the front page now? Even the Toronto FC made a coaching change, which is kind of unexpected. They're going to announce it officially on tomorrow, which would be Tuesday. So you've got the Jays making all their deals. Spring training's around the corner. The Leafs are starting up. Toronto FC is making changes. Like the Raptors seem to be unable to stay in the media spotlight here.
Here's what I think, and I really think this next stretch of games before the NHL starts. So this means Philadelphia, Charlotte, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Chicago, Philadelphia. That's all games right before the NHL starts. If they can come out of that, and that's what, six games?
6 games.
If they can come out of that with a 4-2 record.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 4-2.
I think they can maintain their momentum. Because I think people will look at that as they're winning games. They're in playoff contention. That's good. If they go 3-3 and lower, I think they could be blown off the radar.
Well, and the other interesting part that's for me there is a 4-2 record by them. The Leafs have done next to nothing in the off season. They're basically the same team. If the Leafs come out horribly,
and the Raptors are winning,
I think you might get enough people in this market who are still pissed off about the lockout and a bad Leafs team, and then a good Raptors team. I think that's another key, even if the
absolutely.
Back. And even if the Raptors slide a little bit, if they can show some potential there, still to play. It all depends on the Leafs. The Leafs come out of the gate hot, Raptors are in trouble.
And certainly, if they start losing these games, heading into right before the playoffs or right before the NHL returns, there definitely will be some shake-up on this team.
Yeah, because we're only a month away from pitchers and catchers reporting, right? Month and a half. Yeah. So that's going to be huge news. They got a month and a half between that and the NHL. And with their schedule, they should be able to do it. Yeah. But we're going to see. All right, guys, we'll be back at you next week with more Raptors news. Let's hope that they can sort of do as we suggested and win a couple of these winnable games.